match up two sides, both on 3 points, with a chance to finish in third place with a victory. Both sides wins over Dominica, and there is certainly plenty for these players to look forward to in this game. You could argue that by the time you get to this stage of the competition, the final match day, you face the team closest to you on paper, which should make for a competitive fixture. And of course, you always want to leave on the best possible note, knowing that there are competitions not far down the line where a positive result today can certainly give you a lot more excitement about what lies in store in the future. By any measure, it is a brilliant moment for these players to come out and put their best foot forward, knowing that this is their last game in this competitive cycle. It is a very short-handed U.S. Virgin Islands side, and that's going to make this quite difficult for them. They have no available field players as reserves, and so the players that feature for them are going to need to go the distance. As for Belize, a side that does at least have a full representative bench, but a group that sits in the same place in the overarching table coming in as the U.S. Virgin Islands. Just the singular win, both having won against Dominica and both having been thoroughly dispatched by both the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. The hierarchy of Group A has come into focus, and there's very little doubt remaining. The top two have established themselves, and we'll figure out which side is set to go through later on tonight.
Para este partido del Campeonato Femenino U17 de Concacaf, demos la bienvenida a las selecciones nacionales de Belize e Islas Vírgenes Estadounidenses.
So here they come. Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands take the field one final time in this qualifying cycle in the Concacaf Under-17 Championship first round. And Group A will conclude in 180 more minutes of gameplay. This will decide third place. No chance to qualify for the final round. Nicaragua and Dominican Republic wait in the wings. They'll play later tonight for the group title. We'll hear the national anthems meet the lineups here in Managua.
Damas y caballeros, por favor nos mantenemos todos de pie para el himno nacional de Islas Vírgenes Estadounidenses.
last time shaking the hands of opposition at this Concacaf Under-17 women's qualifying tournament with U.S. Virgin Islands and Belize. And now all that's left is the game, the finale for each team, both on 3 points, and both already eliminated from the potential final round later this year. We'll look at the starting 11 for Belize. Gordon will play just about every inch of this field. She's set to line up front in this. However, Shanalise Smith has often taken that role. You can anticipate Gordon will drop in. Smith will start up front or make her way there at some point. Officials from 4 separate nations: Genesis de Leon of Guatemala, the referee for this game; Marian Leon of El Salvador IV; Herrera and Delancey Evans, Honduras and the Bahamas, respectively, work the lines. Exchange of pennants. The photo that will hang at home for the captains. Here's a look at the U.S. Virgin Islands lineup. This is not a typo. Katie Quinlan has no available field players on her bench. If Osorio went down, Nunez is a goalkeeper. But the rest of the group, well, it could get rather funky should there be an injury. Nunez could be thrust into the field. There are a few players from North America featuring in this USVI side, but it is not a complete 18-player roster. There's a peek down the Belize bench, running out a very similar lineup to the one that they have in their first 2 games. These sides did meet in the preliminary round last year. There is the lone substitute, U.S. Virgin Islands, and a smile from the assistant coaches. Belize will get the first touch here in Managua. Belize gets us started. Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands concluding their qualifying run at the Concacaf Women's Under-17's first round. Group A's penultimate game. U.S. Virgin Islands in yellow, move right to left on your screen. Belize win the early set piece. Kiana Lewis. U.S. Virgin Islands essentially had their bye in a 5-team group. One team can't play every match day in the opening game, and so they've played every date since. Service bouncing across, hammered up and above by Jaina Avila, and found its way out into the corner, shanked behind the net. For Belize, opened with a 6-0 loss against Nicaragua. The U.S. Virgin Islands, they opened up shortly thereafter with an 11-0 defeat at the hands of the Dominican Republic, who enter this final match day 4 goals back, but on same points as Nicaragua. Means Nicaragua will advance with a win or a draw tonight, and with a loss, they could still go through to the final round as one of the top 2 runners-up. But it would be out of their hands. The Dominican Republic will need to win tonight to go through to the final 12, of which this qualifying stage sends 8, 4 having automatic qualification. Avila. Marr captains the side. Valentine. Jocelyn in the back. Then Rihanna Valentine starting higher up the field. It's a clever let. Further for Lewis. There is Deborah Gordon. Quite enjoyed watching her throughout this event. Even against opponents higher up on the table. Constant work rate has been the link in that midfield, 7 in blue. Rising player for Belize. Tipped outside to Valentine. Lewis. Gordon. Gordon hammers the cross, checks up a bit on the turf. Out of harm's way. Stayed in on the line. That clever touch. Ultimately dragged it out from Betsy Perez. It's a service from Gordon. Just a little bit of consternation from Elizabeth Vega. Comes from North Alabama Soccer Coalition. Back to Rihanna Valentine. Marr. Broke through the press with ease. Launched along. And this too far for Shanalise Smith to catch up to. 3-0 win for Belize when these teams met a year ago in qualifying. And Shanalise Smith was the star of that game. Scored a hat trick for Belize. Be an option surely here. There are 3 options across the face of goal. Snagged by Osorio. Plays for the massive program in Texas, Lone Star in the United States. And Williams is an Albion Hurricanes player. They're a big program as well. Leah Marie Ardion of the U.S. as well. And a number of players from the Virgin Islands proper in St. Croix. And playing for Castaways as well. Again, Hannah Marshall captains the side. They're part of the Texan contingent who plays at FC Dallas. This into an offside position. Do play 90 minutes at the under-17 level. That's a first for these players, the international level. Makes it all that much more difficult for the U.S. Virgin Islands knowing they have no substitutes on their bench beyond the singular goalkeeper. This is 360 minutes in 7 days. Not unheard of for young players, but at the international level, really does take its toll. As Virgin Islands offering a shred of pressure. Here's Gordon into the shadows. Valentine. It is a patient USVI side. Tidy work from Gordon. Gordon attempts to intervene. Ellis. Skitters down the line belongs to Belize, who've had the lion's share of the ball at the outset, as it was lost by Tyson. Offside. That's what they're looking for Shanalise Smith. Peel off at the last possible second. Belize looking to bounce back after its loss to the Dominican Republic here. The U.S. Virgin Islands, their first win last time out. Defeated Dominica 2-0 and secured a place outside of the basement in Group A. Fortunately, Dominica will leave without a point and without a goal scored. Lewis trotting back from an offside position. 10 minutes complete in this Group A finale for both the U.S. Virgin Islands and Belize. The ultimate finale is going to be one of the best games of this qualifying round in any group here in Managua, and you can anticipate a fun crowd on hand for that as well. Nicaragua, the host country, and the Dominican Republic, who have combined for a plus 50 with no goals conceded in this group. Ultimately, rubber meets the road in this final game, as they simply outmatch their early opponents. Belize looking for just their 4th goal in 4 games. It would put them ahead. U.S. Virgin Islands have just the 2 against Dominica. Sidestepped over the end line, a corner to Belize. This ball ripped toward frame, lofted over by Osorio. Skims off the hands of Osorio. Jackson Waite did put it on frame. Someone's got to come to that. And the U.S. Virgin Islands couldn't clear far enough away. Belize squandered the second ball. Valentine.
Clean, keep it clean. Keep it clean. Hey.
Valentine. Perez sends it through. The chance is on for Belize. Snagged by Osorio. Chance from Ellis. Stridently past that back line. That's a decent look. Sophia Ellis. Nice back heel. Perez in reverse, picked off by the U.S. Virgin Islands. Avila. Pirouettes out of pressure, but coughed it up. Rare chance in the final third to get service in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Marr up to the task. Clearance still leaves work to be done here. Get numbers forward if you're the U.S. Virgin Islands. And the appeal from Del Rosario falls on deaf ears. And Lopez, it's for an opponent, tie up the cleats. Belize just over 2/3 of the ball. Over 3/4. Through, pressure from Smith. Joined by Gordon. Gordon got there. Outwitted. And here comes the U.S. Virgin Islands sprinting toward the final third. Can she catch the corner? No. It's Marshall, the captain. Over Smith. Smith has it now. Smith went for goal. Lines it off Tyson. So corner to Belize. Serves to the top of the penalty area, hit on the first time by Perez. Decent amount of English on it. And the USVI can settle. They lose it to touch. Smith. Overlap available wide instead. Ambitious effort. Center back Marr. Support wide. That's the problem once you've been pinned back this often. Hasn't really been a ton of sustained Belize pressure in the final third. That a tough giveaway in no man's land. They've had the ball, don't get me wrong, but it's not that they've switched point in the final third and really put the screws to the U.S. Virgin Islands just yet. Good pirouette. Lewis. Gordon. It's opened up space for Lewis, kept on side. Player atop the 6. The U.S. Virgin Islands have been up for it defensively. A couple blocks in front of goal from Viga Tyson. Shanley Smith presses to win it free toward that near post. Kick save away by Osorio. Won by Gordon. Oh, Gordon, come on. Intercepted. And a strike from range, bouncing into the waiting Osorio. And Luis Osorio in command for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Approaching the midway point of this opening half. So pull the curtain down for both these teams in Group A. To enter the final third, Avila steps. planked off the USVA attacking player, Valentine. 28 teams featuring in this qualifying endeavor. This one of 2 venues being utilized for 2 different groups. In the end, we're down about half the teams that could potentially go through during this final match day. Hoping to join the 4 highest seeded teams, the US, Mexico, Canada, and Puerto Rico, in the final round of Under-17 qualifying. And the goal, of course, there, sure, win the Continental Trophy, but also reach the upcoming Under-17 World Cup in October. Wait. Best chance of this half thus far belongs to Wait. Hit from distance. Pushed over by Osorio. Oh, clever ball ahead. Perez. Osorio awaiting. Turned away Gordon. Line breaking pass. The spin free of pressure. There's just nobody there. Too often it's been 3 against 5 when they do break into that final third, the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's been the unfortunate part. Smith leads it on. Gordon from the end line serves it back. Perez. Still Gordon up in the air. Smith beneath it. Punched away Osorio. Smith coming for it. And with temperatures around 85 degrees at kickoff, a hydration break. Cooling break, tomato. Just over halfway through this opening 45. So for those just tuning in to the Concacaf Women's U17 qualifiers for the first time, this is Group A, 2 games being played here in Managua today. Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands, each a win and 2 losses. They fell respectively to the 2 best teams in the group, Nicaragua and Dominican Republic, by gaudy margins. Winner in this would finish 3rd. A draw would see Belize finish ahead of the U.S. Virgin Islands in 3rd on goal difference. The top 2 have a chance to go through. The number 1 team automatically among the 6 group winners to go through. And then the 2nd place finisher still could possibly qualify as one of the 2 best group runners-up. Elsewhere, nothing really decided yet going into this final match day. Group B does have a champion, Panama, as they only played with 4 teams in their group after St. Kitts and Nevis withdrew. So each team only played 3 games. They finished ahead of Bermuda on goal difference. In Group C, still games to be played. Haiti and Guatemala will decide who goes through as the group winner, as the teams retake the field here in Group A. Group D will similarly have a face-off between Jamaica and Honduras that will decide their group winner. Same could be said of Cuba and Costa Rica in Group E. Then Group F is down to its final day with El Salvador and Trinidad and Tobago. They're 2 points apart. Guadeloupe withdrew from that group. Tough thing is they'll have to use a weighted point system as well. So the priority will be points won divided by the number of matches played. Some will have played 4, some will have played 3. As it pertains to the ranking of second place teams for those final 2 positions in the upcoming Under-17 championship. This, of course, all irrelevant to the 2 teams at hand here. Very relevant to the teams that'll finish the night. Well, for the U.S. Virgin Islands, they should be really pleased with how they've started here. Defensively, they've been really solid. Can they get any more numbers forward? As far, it's been numbers that have allowed them to fend off Belize. This shot rings wide from 20 yards. Sophia Ellis. Ellis tried to pull it back. Instead, Virgin Islands will take their spin at the wheel. Here's the problem. Look at the blue and the yellow in the attacking half. Now you've got numbers forward. But as the moment passed, Gordon came to press. It allows the Virgin Islands to rush out the side. Now you have to break down Gordon and get a cross off, or this is maybe the most extended spell of possession the U.S. Virgin Islands have had all game in the attacking half. Comes half an hour in. Launched ahead. Nope. Too far. Snagged by Osorio.
3, 2. Keep it clean, keep it clean.
As Lewis out over that goal line extended. And look, the other side of the U.S. Virgin Islands conundrum, you want to get the numbers forward when you do break ahead. You have no one on your bench, so if you run yourself out of gas here in 85-degree heat, there's no reserve petrol here. Now, we'll cool off as we go through the afternoon. You can see how the shadows have engulfed now 2/3 that attacking half. Drastically less of the side they're defending right now. By the time the late game starts, this game will be played entirely under the lights. Just right at the edge of the area, no chance to pick it up for Lopez, so she'll simply boot it out. Trying to inch up the line. See, they've switched the forwards, brought Ellis off to the right, moved Lewis to the left. Just trying to change some things up here. Here is the aforementioned Lewis. Short of Perez. Nice way to gain a little bit of field position. And a free kick to the U.S. Virgin Islands. Not sure the referee has had to use her whistle yet. One of the cleanest games I think I've ever watched. Ball into the box, initially thwarted. Smith tried to leak it out the side. Here's Gordon. My God, that truly was the first foul of the game. 36th minute was the first foul of this game. All my years, I don't think I've ever seen a game go that far without at least one infraction. If it weren't for the cooling break, we'd probably play 44 minutes and blow the halftime whistle, saying -1 minute of stoppage time. Forward towards Smith. Kicked into the path of Gordon. Yep, didn't touch it. It is a corner for Belize. Up towards Smith. Clearance up over Gordon. Came out to Valentine. The breakout is on for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Wonderful defense by Marr to step in. The numbers are still decent here for the yellow-jerseyed U.S. Virgin Island players in the final third. Squandered once more. Perez goes forward. Lewis. Taken away by Norma Tyson. Vega flicked across. Narrowly out of reach of Celine Del Rosario. Avila. Gordon. Field from Tyson. Good step. Anna Valentine. Here's Jocelyn Valentine. Squared over by Marr out of the vice grip of Virgin Island pressure. Into the penalty area, Belize. This shot will go up above the bar. An ambitious Kiana Lewis took her shot. We're at 40 minutes now. Draw, Belize would finish third in this group. The top two have a chance to go through. Here's an intriguing philosophy to keep in mind for the late game tonight. In the case of a draw between the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua, Nicaragua would win the group with a greater goal difference of plus 27. The Dominican Republic would move to a similar 10 points. At 2.5 points per game, they would actually be guaranteed one of the top two spots among runners-up at 2.5 points per game. They would automatically go through. So Nicaragua and Dominican Republic right now probably downstairs contemplating the best way to win. But the path that sees both teams go forward would be a draw. One of the truly unique situations that occurs when you play in 4 different countries over a 10-day span with 28 teams, potentially have the one mutually beneficial result in the final day. Took 9 quantitative physicists to figure that out, by the way, at Concacaf headquarters. Here's Gordon. Virgin Islands pull into the final third. Rare instance where they meet that end line. Looking for service, ball across from Marshall. Stolen atop the 18. Flick through, chance now for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Gets popped into the ground and scooped up by Lopez after Vega was denied. And an injured player at the edge of the box for Belize in what has been, again, an extraordinarily clean game. Need to come off after receiving attention. Still a number of players that I don't know are aware that ball is in play. Scooped up by Lopez, will reach stoppage time. That may have doubled the output. Yeah, 1 minute. We just had a minute-long injury stoppage and a minute-and-a-half long cooling break. We finished with 1 minute of stoppage time. This ball has hardly ever left the field of play. Perez. See if Belize or the U.S. Virgin Islands can sneak one right before halftime. Change the coach talk. Ellis. Well, that might take us to halftime. Here's a glance at the watch. "46 minutes and 5 seconds is all it took. One singular foul between the two teams. From an attacking perspective, 13 shots, 6 on frame for Belize, 1 on target for the U.S. Virgin Islands. And nothing to show for it at this stage, so we remain scoreless. Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands in their finale in Group A, scoreless at the intermission in Managua. The Concacaf Women's Under-17 Qualifiers from Managua. It is Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands, the finale for each team in Group A. Neither team capable of qualifying for the final round, both looking to leave on the highest of notes. We'll look at our first half highlights. One of the better chances from Jacksam Waite. Tipped over the bar by Kylise Osorio. This is Smith, denied by the aforementioned Osorio. Blocked by Tyson off the foot of Smith. Ultimately, this game featured 15 first half shots, 7 of them on frame, but none finding the twine. Ellis from range, wide of the post. Ball bouncing out to Gordon in the wide area, but unable to get a second service in. Very few chances in this opening half for the U.S. Virgin Islands. In the final third, that may have been the best from Vega. At halftime, scoreless. A remarkably clean first 45 minutes. 2 total fouls committed in that opening half, both by Belize. Belize has 70% of the ball, but nothing to show for it on the scoreline. At halftime, this women's under-17 qualifying Group A fixture is Belize 0, U.S. Virgin Islands 0. Played by
Oye, al principio yo pensaba que eran cámaras. Oye, al principio que era cámara.
Approaching kickoff in Managua, the second half incoming, and there are changes to speak of at the break. Most notably, we're finding out that Chloe Nunez is listed as a goalkeeper, but can play in the field and will have to here in the second half. Let's play ball here. It is scoreless between Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands. U.S. Virgin Islands use their only available player off the bench on the front foot here to start the second half. So Chloe Nunez has come on. Jamie Smith is off. U.S. Virgin Islands are now out of subs, not because they've used 5, but because they only brought 1. Then one change for Belize. Shanley Smith scored a hat trick when these teams met a year ago at this stage, but is the first player off. Now, Jolene Aranda coming in.
Sustitución en la isla Líderes estadounidenses. Sale con el número 15, Jamie Smith. Entra con el
Turned
número
over to the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Chloe Nunez.
Ball played forward into the penalty area. Brotzinger.
Para la selección de Belice. Sale con el número 3, Shanley Smith.
Blocked by Avila.
Entra con el número 5, Violín Aranda. minuto 46.
It's quite a way to begin for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Back on their heels much of that opening half. Now or never. Service lofted across. Appeared to kiss off the woodwork there. Here is Gordon. Chip cross field. Ellis. Plays square, trying to get around the referee. Wait. Suddenly a step off. Is the penultimate game in Group A. The win here will secure third for either team. This becoming a group where it's very likely that the group winner will go through, which is a guarantee. The second place finisher very well could as well. Fortunately, neither of these teams capable of reaching that plateau. Be the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua for the group title later tonight. Avila tosses in for Belize. Carried forward by Lewis. Snapped outside, whipped it frame. That is Aranda's first real interaction with the ball. 4 minutes after being a halftime substitute. Came to her kindly. That should have been a foul from Marshall. Marshall goes to win the ball. Ball doesn't lie. Support overlapping. Krotzinger. Waiting mitts of Lopez. Gordon breaks free, could have a go. Gordon. Gordon! Not to be. Did take a deflection. Will be a corner. So Ellis will take the corner. Winds whipping back toward her face. It's over 25-mile-an-hour gusts. Ellis, Perez. Ellis kept on side, offers service, hangs in the air, header snapped wide by Lewis. That's a cheap giveaway. It's Belize with another set piece. Bronstein put it over the line. The last corner, bit prickly. Piano Lewis, left a player in the dust. Toward Gordon. And that's as far as Rhonda could get. Good standing tackle from Wade. Again, Belize stymie the U.S. Virgin Islands' effort to build in transition. Lewis. Ellis. Lewis. Punctured by Tyson. Still it's Ellis for Belize. Avila. Valentine. Lewis. Pardon, Miranda. Unfortunately, the 5 and 9 on jersey. A bit difficult to comprehend. Ellis. Ellis from range. Lisa Osorio to put a foot wrong. Shipped into the final third for the Virgin Islands. Slips back to Lopez. Over 10 minutes played in the second half. They are putting ideas to the test. Well dropped. Forward here from Lewis. The wide area. Cranked across. Claimed by Osorio. Avila higher up the field than ever for Belize. Hit from range, falls off the deflection. Ellis! Ellis! The breakthrough for Belize. Sophia Ellis has put Belize in front. Finally cracking the deadlock. Wade from range, it was blocked. Ellis off the outstretched arms of Osorio. Not nearly enough on it to push it up above.
Sofía Ellis, minuto 57.
58th minute breakthrough. Grotzinger offers service. We'll see if that lights the fuse for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Houston waiting now. Then much more structurally forward thinking in this second half. Ellis, the goal scorer. Covered by Avila. Grotzinger could get no further. Marr. Belongs to Belize. U.S. Virgin Islands home to less than 100,000. Only brought 12 on this final roster. Home to about 50 islands beyond the main three islands of St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas. Play for Belize. Gordon. Blocked by Ardian. Williams. This belonged to Belize. So against Marshall. Marr. Deep down, just wanted to dribble out that free kick. Tried the other side through Valentine. Chip down the field. Nagua holds to 2 groups in this qualifying cycle. Coincidentally, it is also the home to the 41st Ordinary Congress for Concacaf, which has just kicked off. One that saw the budget for the upcoming year for the region approved. Also sees a council position in Concacaf created through election for the Caribbean. Ball from Perez, grabbed by Osorio. Also set the tone for the upcoming senior and youth national team and club tournaments over the next year. We are just 2 days away from the kickoff of the Concacaf Champions Cup on the men's side. The W Champions Cup set to run in May. Finals in Pachuca. Ball launched along. Belize did latch onto that. Didn't actually get the shot away in any convincing fashion from Keanu Lewis. Upcoming 2026 Concacaf W Championship. See its qualifying conclude. Part of the overarching path to the upcoming 2027 FIFA World Cup in Brazil. Pressure from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Merely a goal kick, but Marshall putting her stamp on this game. Valentine. Perez. Avila. Leaves a goal to the good. Sophia Ellis about 7 minutes ago. Lewis. Ellis. Ooh. Offside. I was going to say that did stay in at the end line. There's a crunching tackle from Avila into Marshall. Down on the other end. Belize manager Joseph Waite. Nice dribble through midfield is ended harshly. It's going to come with the first card of this game. 67th minute to wait. Elizabeth Vega back up after the most physical challenge of the contest to this point. Still subs here for Belize. U.S. Virgin Islands used their only sub at halftime. One left on their bench, trying to find the equalizer now. Flipped ahead by Vega. Lopez. Bobble recovers. So we'll stay with the U.S. Virgin Islands. In from Tyson. Slicing wide from 30. Norma Tyson off target. Final game of this group still to come. The Dominican Republic and host country Nicaragua. With the extreme nuance, knowing that a draw would qualify both teams and the peril that exists should the job not get done. A loss send the loser the edge of elimination. And that's 70 minutes with temperatures still above 80 degrees. A stoppage here in Managua. Belize has not dipped any further into their bench despite gaining the lead a little over 10 minutes ago. So let's walk you through what we're looking at present here. In Group A, it's Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic that'll fight for the last spot. Again, a draw would see Nicaragua through as the group winner, but at 2.5 points per game, the draw would also mean the Dominican Republic would finish in the top two of runners-up and go through. A loss for either could put them out. A win for either guarantees the group, of course. Group B is already settled. They did not play a fourth game. Panama is through on goal difference. Bermuda awaits the final result. They'll finish 2.33 points per game. Group C, Guatemala with a win would jump Haiti. Haiti with a win or a draw in that game through. It's the group winner. Group D, similar. Honduras a win or a draw, and they're through. A loss, and Jamaica would jump them. It would leave them on 9 points. That's where you get to those weird dynamics for the potential runner-up. Group E sees Costa Rica and Cuba both at 9 points apiece. Again, you get to the case of a draw, potentially putting Cuba through on 10 points. Although they're only plus 11 in goal difference. El Salvador and Trinidad and Tobago playing in a group with only 4 teams in Group F. So winner in that matchup is through. So much still to be decided over these next 2 days. U.S. Virgin Islands break free coming out of the cooling break. Marshall! Oh, do you believe this? Reagan Hannah Marshall. What an individual effort to put the U.S. Virgin Islands on level terms. My, oh my. In behind, and the chip shot up over Lopez. And the U.S. Virgin Islands celebrating. They've equalized as we approach the final quarter hour.
Con el número 11, Liga Marshall, minuto 73.
What a moment for the U.S. Virgin Islands, who've been unafraid to counter, do so with more numbers in the second half than they did the first. Well, that's simply one player starring in her role. Marshall clearing just enough space to get that shot away from the edge of the penalty area. And it's a due reward for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Belize has had far more of the ball, but they haven't been all that compelling in front of goal. Of 16 minutes now. Try and pull ahead once more. Valentine, Gordon, offside. And look, we're at the point now neither team can advance. Finishing third versus fourth is, in the grand scheme, not competitively relevant. So play for the win. Nothing ventured, nothing gained at this final stage of under-17 qualifying for Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Wait. Marshall in the 73rd, Waite in the 67th. Beg your pardon, Ellis in the 58th, beg your pardon. Waite, only other mark in the referee's book, the yellow card in the 67th. Pushing onward, Avila down the flank. Perez making a run in the interior. Instead, it's Ellis carrying. Ellis firing and scoring! Sophia Ellis, a remarkable goal for Belize. Her second goal of the game. And as quick as it was level, Belize nudge ahead again. A looping dream of an effort, curling up into the air and above Carlos Osorio. 2-1 Belize. 2 goals about 20 minutes apart. And the U.S. Virgin Islands will have to dig out from under a deficit again. These sides did meet in qualifying last year. Belize won that fixture 3-0. And now they'll probably be a bit more careful, having already watched one lead evaporate. Ellis. Gordon leading. Aranda couldn't claim. Got a play by Valentine. Forward by Del Rosario. Maybe a chance to swing this across. Contact in the box! A penalty! A penalty conceded by Belize and won by Marshall. And Mar, the captain for Belize, does put a foot wrong. There's the intervention, catches the cleat of Marshall. And now a second chance to equalize for the U.S. Virgin Islands. Lopez awaits. Reminded not to leave the line early. And the U.S. Virgin Islands have a chance to equalize once more. In the 80th minute now. Kyla Grotzinger plays at Castaways. Ball keeps seemingly blowing off the spot. Some fans up along the cast iron fence. Gordon and Tyson told not to encroach. Looking for just the right panel. Here it is. Grotzinger! An equalizer for the U.S. Virgin Islands. A masterful penalty. 2-2.
Gol de la Selección Nacional de Islas Vírgenes del Estado Belize.
What a fascinating game this turned into in the final half hour.
Al minuto 81.
Wow. Grotzinger equalizing 8 minutes after Marshall had equalized. Ellis, the 2 goals for Belize. Game on, inside 10 minutes remaining. Belize the better goal difference coming in. They would finish 3rd in the group with a draw. Fortunately, the top 2 have a chance to advance. is with the U.S. Virgin Islands. They have not gone away, the U.S. Virgin Islands. They have one player on their bench, and they made the sub at halftime, bringing in Nunez. Service whipped across is a decent ball. Hammered toward frame wide. Valentine trying to turn that out of harm's way. Del Rosario couldn't convert. Hammered off target. Marshall. The FC Dallas Charge looking for her second goal. She won the penalty as well. At the foul from Marr. That is ice in veins style penalty from Grotzinger. Lofted long, corralled by Belize. Perez. The cross is too high for Gordon. On the backside, hit toward frame. And ricochets into the waiting hands of Osorio from Aranda. Avila, dangerous back pass. The very calm, collected Lopez clearance. Surely the U.S. Virgin Islands believe they can win this now. Intervention doesn't win the ball, the U.S. Virgin Islands, but does slow Belize. Ardian pulls it in. Free kick, U.S. Virgin Islands. Marr smirks. And will have to defend set piece from a quality range here from Marshall. The numbers are even on that back post. Can someone beat their mark? You don't tend to see a ton of set piece goals this age group. Set piece goal could be the difference now. Marshall. Grotzinger chasing after it. It never fell in play. Just sort of wonder if she had eyes for beating Lopez into that top corner a second time. In terms of the pots, these two sides were actually borderline equivalent. Belize, the bottom team in pot 3. U.S. Virgin Islands, the top team in pot 4 in the rankings. This is as razor thin as you can get. You could similarly argue that the Dominican Republic is the bottom team in pot 1. Nicaragua is the second team ranked in pot 2. Just as the U.S. Virgin Islands got a great chance on a set piece in the final third, now Belize does. This a bit more centered as well. a tad closer. Ellis has scored 2 goals and has a chance at a hat trick these final minutes. Goal for either side could prove the winner now. 4 in the wall. Ellis. To the end line. That's a foul to prevent the U.S. Virgin Islands from getting forward. And it is Lewis who's hard done in the end, committed the foul. That's a really tough fall. Rutzinger, the equalizer in the 81st. Marshall and pulled the U.S. Virgin Islands level in the 73rd. Goals from Ellis, 58th and 77th minutes. Both go-aheads, neither ultimately has stood the test of time. As we approach stoppage now. Marshall into the box. This will get out for a corner. No use waiting now. Win, loss, draw. It stands for the competition, doesn't matter. So bring most everything you have if you're the U.S. Virgin Islands. Try and win it here, just shy of the death. What a cool moment this could be. Service through. 2 minutes of added time. Is the counter on through Gordon. Pushed into space. Ellis, 2 goals already. Squares. Angled back from Perez. They've given us quite a game at the end, haven't they? Massive credit to these players. Your goal is to play at the senior international level. These are the ones you have to gut out. And by virtue of playing here at the under-17s, you are on the cusp of it. Ellis. It's a matter of seconds remaining. Pushed free, wait. Snared. We're down to seconds now. Belize get the ball forward one more time. There's a glance at the watch. They're going to let this play out. It's got to go forward now from the U.S. Virgin Islands. And Lopez corrals and takes us to full time. A 4-goal second half, 2 each way. And Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands leave us wanting more, but have been given everything. Reach full time at a 2-2 stalemate. Ellis, 2 goals in this second half. Equalizers from Marshall and from Grotzinger from the penalty spot in the final 10 minutes. A remarkable conclusion for both teams. Neither will qualify for the final round of the Under-17 championship, but both can leave with their heads held high. Quite the effort as it finishes Belize 2, U.S. Virgin Islands 2. A look at the highlights in this Concacaf Under-17 Group A finale for both Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands. Neither can qualify. Both gave a very compelling effort when it was all said and done. There are 15 total shots in that opening half. None ultimately found the net. That's Smith being blocked. Wayward effort by Belize, who had 13 of those shots. Wait with 2 good chances toward goal. And then we got an idea of what Sophia Ellis was capable of. Ultimately, opener account early in the second half. This from Gordon would run too far. The best chance for the U.S. Virgin Islands in the opening half is from Elizabeth Vega. And halftime arrived at 0-0. Second half arrived as the sun began to set in Managua. And Belize came out firing after a strong opening minute from the Virgin Islands. This header steered away by Kiana Lewis. Marshall chipping it through to Lopez. Then the door would open for Belize. First, it was Valentine with an effort. Then the deflection down to Ellis. Was able to get this off the hands of Osorio and in after Waite's shot deflected so kindly right to Ellis. And it was 1-0 to Belize in the 58th minute. U.S. Virgin Islands would seek their response over the 15 minutes that would follow. Marshall playing a massive role. A yellow card that Marshall suffered by the hand of Jackson Waite in the 67th. Followed 6 minutes later by sweet retribution. Marshall collects, edge of the penalty area, lofts up and above Lopez and in. Pull the U.S. Virgin Islands on level terms. 1-1. It would be short-lived, however. Sophia Ellis, you dream of goals like that. Puts it up and finds the corner from long range. Ellis in the 77th, and we're square for merely 4 minutes. 2 goals to 1. Only to see the U.S. Virgin Islands win a penalty 4 minutes after that, in the 81st minute. Kyla Grolzinger. Euphoria for the traveling support. 2 goals to 2. That's how it would finish in Managua. So here's how it all stacks up statistically. 26 shots to 9 in favor of Belize. Only 2 fouls in the entire first half, and the U.S. Virgin Islands playing with only 12 eligible players, able to find 2 separate equalizers, and despite retaining only 32% possession, managing just 3 shots on frame, inclusive of the penalty. A 2-2 draw. As Belize will finish 3rd, the U.S. Virgin Islands will finish 4th based upon goal difference. And now we await the group championship match. A draw will see Nicaragua and the Dominican Republic through. Nicaragua is the group champ. Dominican Republic is the top 2 runner-up. A loss for either could see them out of the final round of competition. So that's it in Group A for Belize and the U.S. Virgin Islands. An amazing second half. It finishes 2 goals to 2. For our entire team in Managua and beyond, Mike Watts saying so long from Nicaragua for now. Good night.